Lots of people talk about not being part of the popular kids in high school. I think it's time we heard the popular kids side of the story. So, if you were popular in school, what was that like and how has that experience affected the rest of your life? I was also curious about what this might be like, so during my senior year of high school I executed Operation Popular. I was attending a pretty small school that I'd only started going to a year and a half before, so this wasn't an entirely daunting task. When I'd moved to the town and started school, I was pretty messed up from my previous school. Kids trying to break into my house, beat me up, make fun of me every day even when I spoke to nobody. I kind of faded into the background and made a couple good friends who weren't part of the popular clique. Once I'd opened up a bit and gotten more comfortable, I wanted to know what being one of the in crowd was like and exorcise some demons from being so picked on at my last school. Operation Popular was born. I made the effort, without looking like it, obviously GSPSSH God, to talk to the right people, get invited to parties, and just be a friendly dude. Now this wasn't quite that simple, but by the second semester, I was basically in. I wasn't a ringleader by any stretch, but I was in the group, albeit my own niche that I'd carved. The biggest thing I noticed once I got in was how much they hated each other. When I was on the outside looking in, the popular kids seemed to be a united front, a country club of TV teen fantasy celebrating each other and how awesome they were. In reality, it was like pre-WW1 Europe. Everyone had their minor allegiances and unspoken feuds, but if an archduke got jumped in the parking lot, crap would combust. Upvote for Franz Ferdinand reference. I considered myself fairly popular in high school. I dated quite a few girls, never had trouble finding dates to dances or prom, played different sports, went to all the parties. As for my experience, I wasn't like some of the other kids I was friends with who would befriend the special needs kid just for laughs or alienate the socially awkward. I didn't pick on anyone, was nice and talkative to everyone. I valued time with friends over schoolwork and how HS could impact my future. That was a mistake. As far as rest of my life, I regularly speak to only one friend from home. I married my GF from HS as well. She was also popular and only speaks to one close friend regularly. My popularity has had little to no impact on my life since graduating. My experience was odd. For my first 2 years of high school, I was relentlessly bullied and picked on by the juniors and seniors. I was the only punk in town. I did the school plays, and was on the quiz ball team. East Coast Regional Champions 2003 mother. During my sophomore year I managed to make friends with one of the more popular kids in school. He wasn't a douchey jock type though, he played guitar and is just an all-around nice guy. Well, our group of friends, halfway through junior year, got some more confidence, started going to parties, and things started to change. I suddenly found myself being called on Friday nights by girls, and people asking where's the party tonight. I realized I was actually one of the more popular kids all of a sudden. It was fun, nobody messed with me, I wasn't nervous walking through the halls, and I actually took what was considered to be the hottest girl in our class to prom. I made a commitment not to stop hanging out with my less popular friends though, and tried to make sure they were included in parties, and when we went out, I tried to make sure nobody got on their cases. All things considered, being popular is fun, but being a geek is something nobody can ever take away from you. None of it matters after high school anyway, and that popular guy I made friends with became the best man at my wedding years later. You can take the geek out of the hood but you can't take the hood out of the geek, or something like that. I'm much older than most of you as I went to high school in the 80s, but that gives me perspective from a distance. I was one of the popular kids, but that really only meant that I was a part of the crowd that was seen as cool. There were other groups who weren't seen as cool, but they still had a group of friends. I guess it's the ones who have no friends who have a really hard time. My advice for you is to open yourself up to others who are having a hard time and just wait it out until college. Then find the people who are like you, because they are out there. Just find someone to hang with. It beats sitting alone at lunch or at home alone on a Friday night. It really doesn't matter how cool or popular you or your friends are, as long as you have one good friend. As far as the rest of my life, after college, no one cares how cool or popular you are, so please, study more at college and party less. My biggest regret is not finding a better balance between social life and academics. Plan for the future. Also, I was never mean to anyone in high school, but I probably didn't reach out to people outside of my group either. A couple of years ago, I ran into a woman I had gone to high school with, but hadn't seen for 20 years. I'm sure she was miserable in high school, based on her physical appearance and being a closeted lesbian. She seemed really happy to see me, but I was incredibly worried that I had somehow contributed to her unhappiness in high school inadvertently. So, my advice to those who are popular is to reach out to everyone with a smile and a kind word, for their sake and yours. Well, being the popular kid in school, I made lots of friends. Beyond that, it really didn't have any impact on my future. It's not like I broke out of some shell to become popular. I was just always outgoing and could easily make friends. I would stick up for people when they needed to be, and I would stand up to bulls that other people didn't have the balls to. I was voted most popular my senior year because everyone in the school knew who I was, because I was nice to them. When you're not popular, you divide everyone up into arbitrary ranks and crap. When you are, there are just kids you like and kids you don't like. I was popular during 2nd grade, and only 2nd grade. I don't know what happened, but after that year from 3rd 5th, I was an outcast. At the risk of sounding narcissistic, I guess I was one of the most popular kids in my school. I was elected class president, which is just a popularity contest at my school to give you an idea. School was awesome. I did not do much schoolwork but rather focused on having a good time. I was friends or on good terms with everybody, I believe, in my class of 180 students. It's cool to go into class and being able to sit next to basically anybody and talk to them. My popularity was the reason I was allowed to give the graduation speech, which had the girls in tears and people laughing. Probably the most awesome day of my life so far. When I got called up on stage to receive my diploma, I got the loudest cheers and standing O's, which was awesome. People came up to me for the rest of the day, and at our traditional graduation cookout, parents went out of their way to talk to me. I kinda felt like a rock star, lol. I don't know, it's hard to describe. Think about it this way, no matter where you go, you always have somebody to talk to. You can always share a laugh, copy somebody's homework, or get invited somewhere. It gets fatiguing as well at times though, but still it was really fun. I tried to not be a douche and always help the nerdier kids out when they were being treated unfairly. Unlike movie cliches portray it, I was friends with the nerdier kids as well and actually enjoyed talking about history class, for example, which I was really enthusiastic about with some of them. Teachers liked me as well after I got my crap together after 9th grade, which was awesome. I don't know what else to write right now. Nothing has come of it in college now. Nobody gives a crap about who you were. My first year in uni, I hardly made any friends. Recently switched majors and have found myself in a comfortable social setting again. There isn't this sense of cohesion as you have it in high school. I don't cling to the good old days when I was the popular dude. It was a nice time, but it's over now. I have 4 friends from high school I still keep in contact with regularly and hang out with. The rest have faded away, as it always happens. Whenever I run into anybody from school, I'm still happy to see them though. I'm really looking forward to our first reunion, hopefully next year. The older you get, the more work you need to maintain friendship. I'm 28. As an older person, 20-year reunion is this year. You younger folks should be made aware. Lots of people that were popular in school will eventually twist history and make it seem like they weren't popular at all. Everyone thinks they had it tough, or at least they pretend to, probably because it's a common touchstone for those of us that weren't popular but blossomed and did something with their lives later, because these people never tire of soaking up attention. I was probably in the 2nd tier of popularity at my high school. My group weren't athletes, but were in clubs, band, student government, etc. Popularity at my school was, weirdly, based on involvement, so it was mostly overachievers who were considered popular. I don't have any stories of the popular kids ending up as townies at dead-end jobs. All of them have gone on to be very successful. I think the hardest part for me was that I made some amazing, like-minded friends in high school. It's been 10 years and I still keep in touch with about 10 of them and consider them my closest friends. Even though we've all moved far away, my transition to university was hard. because I found it difficult to meet people I liked as much as them. I don't keep in great touch with people from university, but I do with some of the more like-minded people I met during post-grad and at former jobs. I don't like the narrative of how bad it is to peak in high school. I think you need to look at each segment of your life as an experience. Maybe high school was a great segment for me, but I don't dwell on it and look forward to the future. Ultimately, it's extremely rare to find great friends, so no matter when you do, you should hold on to them tightly. In a few words, it absolutely sucked. I was definitely one of the more popular kids, had a class of 200ish and basically everyone knew me, captain of the very good varsity baseball team, student rep to our school committee, played guitar and drums, am fairly good looking. I'm not conceited, just trying to paint a picture to most accurately answer the question, but it was awful. I don't drink alcohol, and that caused a lot of the other cool kids to treat me like crap because of maturity. Also, I didn't really fit in with any of the social cliques. I was too nerdy for the jocks, who were mostly douchebags anyways, too much of a jock for the nerds, and on and on. In a typical day I would be acknowledged and say hi to 100+ people in the hallway, but I didn't really have that many true friends. If anything, high school gave me a whole host of examples of how not to be in life thanks to many of the other students and their behavior. I am only still friends with about 4 people from high school, and that doesn't make me feel sad in the slightest. I may have been popular, but I never really cared about it. I know there are people who had it worse than me and I can't really complain, but I would rather not repeat high school, ever. My high school was actually really cliche. The jocks, party kids, me, cheerleaders, and rich kids all hung out together. Then there was the stoner group, the emos, the weirdos, and the nerdy kids. A lot of my friends and I could actually get pretty mean, which I regret looking back. Having a lot of cool friends in high school is great for 4 years. Then one day you go to college and realize nobody gives a frick who you were. My one piece of advice for the loser kid in high school is just do you. No matter who you are, you'll meet people like you in college. Me and my circle were the goth, metalhead druggies and thought of ourselves as outcast. Talking to the popular kids 10 years later, they thought they were outcast and we were too cool to talk to. It's all about perspective and how what we watch and listen to brainwashes us. I also found out the preppy uptight girls were complete W. If I had known, I would have cut my image completely out. We had like 6 chicks in our circle that were always taken. This guy gets it. After high school I was a lot like Matthew McConaughey's character in Dazed and Confused. Now I'm married with 2 kids, and life is exactly like Al Bundy's in Married with Children. I was quite popular in high school. Editor-in-chief of my school newspaper, homecoming king, class vice president and such. It was great because I genuinely just love people. I'm a total people person and it was amazing having so many people to know and care about. It was also really beneficial because I am gay and the coming out process was quite difficult with my family. So having a large group of supporters really helped me maintain my sanity. What changes did it bring me now, at 26? None really, except for still having many friends from almost a decade ago, and, I guess, understanding how to interact with people. I think my popularity stemmed from the fact that I was never a bully. While the so-called popular kids were really only friends with each other, I was friends with all different kinds of people. And that lesson of trying to find common ground with everyone and always being kind has helped me throughout the following years. I was sort of a loser in high school. Well, at first, but my girlfriend won both prom queen and homecoming queen, which helped with my popularity. You find that people don't like you without cause, and rumors are spread, more about me than her, though, I don't know. Everybody loved her, they still do. My school never had cliques. Everyone was at least mutual friends with everyone else and it was fairly easy to have different groups of friends to be in. I graduated in 2002. I was a triple varsity letterman. I had a nice car. I worked my butt off for at my parents' bar, cooking. I dated a girl who did a few modeling gigs for American Eagle, and I wore quite literally the entire Abercrombie and Fitch catalogs. High school was fun. I wasn't the kind of popular guy to make fun of anyone. Having a sister with Down syndrome, I've seen how it makes people feel. I was kinda the class clown, but was never considered dumb or ever in danger of failing. I think what made me so well liked was the fact I never adhered to one social group. I had friends that were considered nerdy or unpopular. My brothers gave me good advice. High school is dumb and petty. Don't overlook people because they aren't deemed cool. Each sport I played in won a championship. Baseball, football, and basketball, so that probably helped. I was homecoming king and voted best personality. I wouldn't say high school was the best time in my life because that would be pathetic in my eyes. I tried to stay away from high school politics drama, which was harder than I expected it to be, but overall I had a lot of friends and good times. Maybe too late, but here's my story. With the risk of sounding pompous, I was pretty popular in high school. I played on the football team at a school that was really good at football. Parties, drinking, activities, etc. all kinda ran through me and my friends. But that's not really what I want to talk about. It gave me a false sense of being better than other people. I could frick around in class and pass because I needed to start once Friday came around. I didn't need to do homework like the regular people. Now I wasn't ever directly mean to the people around me that I thought were lesser, but I do mean things. A kid named Dustin was in my year and I had known him since elementary school. We weren't friends back then, but as a kid I always felt the need to be nice to him because he didn't have any friends. He was sad and I knew it. I didn't give a crap that no one else talked to. I did. But high school changed me. He'd try and talk to me, and I would sometimes ignore him because I didn't want to be seen talking to him when I was with my friends. I hated this about myself. I thought about it at night, but then I just did it again the next day. As I've grown up, I realize what a terrible person I have been. The kid came from a troubled family and never talked to anyone but me. Then I cut that out from his life. He didn't graduate. I did. I haven't seen him since probably junior year. 5 years ago. I want to go back. I want to tell him sorry. I was a new kid to high school. I had moved from India my junior year. I had a really thick accent and was kinda chunky. I got made fun of pretty bad. I found a circle of friends and during the summer I spent all day with them and lost my accent and found out that I'm petty good at softball. Senior year, I was backup catcher and ended up playing 3 games. I was a popular kid and had a good looking GF. My life was totally awesome. I became kind of a douche and ignored my friends that I had when I was non-popular, so I'm not proud of it. I was pretty popular, I guess. I had a girlfriend all through high school, one of which was a cheerleader. I was friends with most people. The nice thing was I could hang with most of the cliques when I wanted to. So, if I wanted to go to a good party, I would go with the football players and cheerleaders. If I wanted to smoke pot, I would hang out with the skaters, snowboarders. If I wanted to listen to music, I would hang out with the punks. If I wanted to have an interesting conversation, I would hang out with the smart kids. Well, I was one of the smart kids, top of my class, president of the National Honor Society, etc. Honestly, though, I don't think about those days much. It wasn't until university that I met people that I really liked. Today, at 35, I can't even remember the names of most of the people I went to high school with. When I go back to my hometown, I see some of them. Well, they see me and come up and say hi, but I usually don't remember them at all. In high school, I was one of the more popular kids in my school till 10th grade. In middle school I was also popular. I was one of those girls who thought they were the crap. Put enough makeup on to supply a whorehouse for a week each day, and showed off my non-existence in middle school boobs. I wasn't directly mean to people, but me and my friends talked crap about anything and everything. All the boys in our school loved us. I thought I was better due to this. In the beginning of 10th grade was my popularity downfall. It was the summer before 10th grade, and I stumbled upon anime. Anime led me to finding video games and Reddit. This completely changed who I was, for the better. I suddenly became an introvert and a geek. When school started, I am pretty sure everyone noticed my change. I wasn't the geek who wore hipster glasses and stuff. My whole personality was changed in a few months. I stopped wearing makeup, started wearing less revealing clothing and cut off most of my hair because it was so damaged. A few months later, my friends told me that they did not want to be friends with me anymore because I had made newer friends who were considered nerds. Honestly, those people are the people who I am friends with today. I'm sorry, but you don't suddenly become an introvert. I went to a school with 30 kids in every graduation class. Everybody had friends. We all supported each other and had micro cliques that supported our specific interests. Computer stuff, sports stuff, goth stuff, theater stuff, academic stuff, and that was about it. Everyone was respectful of each other and could intermix. It was a great experience to have that growing up. How has that experience affected the rest of your life? Anyone that's been to high school knows that absolutely no one cares who you were and what you did at high school once you're in college. I rose from the bottom of the barrel to the top of the food chain strategically during middle high school and was considered very popular. Honestly, popularity was very easy to figure out. Make friends with someone higher up in the chain until you're best friends with everyone in the top 5. Figure out how they talk, speech patterns, topic of jokes, etc. and laugh a lot. Really, all that's different about me after having been a part of the hot girls, is confidence. I can talk to a larger variety of people and I'm pretty good in every social circle. I have many acquaintances but 2 extremely close friends now that I'm in college. I've developed a certain disdain for phony. J.D. Salinger's definition of phony. People from having seen such blatant bulls go through the cool cats and prefer true and noble people exponentially more than the party girls. Popularity was nice in a way that I could do anything I want and people would still grab my balls as they kiss my butt, so I had no fear. It was nice being able to call people out on things like this. One time a kid was making fun of the special ed students and one word from me shamed him beyond explanation for the rest of the day. One tip for anyone climbing up the social ladder: don't. You'll figure out eventually none of it actually matters and you should just surround yourself with people that love you unconditionally. You don't have to be a social butterfly to not take anyone's crap and you should always just be yourself. I guess I was one of the popular girls at school. I had a bunch of tight friends and we went to parties every weekend. We hung out with guys from college and took them to our prom. There were fun times, but looking back I don't think it was that good for me as a person. Firstly, our friends would be about each other behind their backs. All of our friends. Everyone would pull everyone down. By the end of high school I just thought this was the normal way to be. So I went to college, I carried this on. It wasn't until I lost a bunch of amazing girls, my own fault, that I realized the world's not really like that. Secondly, I became obsessed with being perfect. The more people told me I was perfect or complimented me, the more it drove an insane and irrational obsession with being perfect. I was constantly anxious about messing up and would beat myself up in my head. I didn't tell anyone about this at the time because I wanted to keep up appearances. After starting college I've had to relearn how to think and act. I'm pretty comfortable now and have learnt to accept myself and others as who we are. Although I do have to admit that I know how to act confident and charming, which I think came from that experience. Let's just say that as someone in my 20s I wish I wasn't popular in high school. The way you get to be popular in high school is not giving a crap about being popular. As a result, you think of the other kids as other kids. Some are friends, some aren't, some you like, some you don't. I'd also say a disproportional percentage of the popular kids go on to be real estate agents. I have no clue why. Freaking real estate agents. So goddamn charming. I've actually lived on both sides of popularity. When I was in middle school I was very unpopular. I was in theater, band, and chorus and hung out with the group that you threw stuff at during recess. I hated it and I didn't understand it, so when I was getting ready to go to high school I decided to go to the technical high school in our area instead. The technical school had students from about 11 different towns, so I got to start over. It was also a much more accepting environment because most of the students were outcasts like I was. It also helped that I grew boobs over the summer before starting. I was class president for all 4 years and top of my class. I was friends with everyone and it was so different and so fantastic. But I wasn't popular because of reasons that most movies make it seem. I was the good girl and involved in every extracurricular activity, and in my school people admired that. It was one of the best experiences of my life, and even though it's been almost 5 years, I still am really close to most of my friends from high school. In the long run it gave me much better confidence, and it's helped me to be far more outgoing than that scrawny kid getting picked on in middle school. I wouldn't change my high school experience for the world. Something I know I'm very lucky to be able to say. I was one of those kids. Honestly, I didn't notice it until high school and my friends threw a surprise birthday party for my 18 and how many people showed up. It was strange, and then I realized, oh dear, unpopular. I never considered myself to be a popular kid. I slept through most of my classes and wasn't generally very nice to people, to be honest. People just always knew who I was and always wanted to be around me. I really only had one true friend, who I still friends with. Seeing as how I graduated just a few years ago, I wouldn't say it's really affected me much, although that is how people still treat me now. I still sleep most of the time, and I really only hang out with my husband and or some of the few close friends I've made in the military. My school didn't have groups. I went to an arts high school. The only grouping that occurred was based on which of the arts you chose to pursue, but there were often collaborations. My high school was awesome. Oh, high school. I was a popular jock, I guess. To keep things succinct, I'll just rattle off some pros and cons. Pros. Girls, yes. The girls were dumb and impressionable. I never took advantage of anyone, but the pickings were still hefty. Homework, lol, what's that? I got plenty of his on assignments I never even did. I once had a teacher, assistant football coach, call me to his desk, show me my grade was an 82%. BS personal finance class, and said, you know how hard it is to round this up to an A. An A at my school was a 93%. I received an A. Punishment again, never happened. I got away with murder on a daily basis and was never punished. Cons non-existent. It's over now, but I had a blast living in the high school bubble. To be honest, life really hasn't become much more difficult. I'm a nice guy and people usually reciprocate that niceness. Girls still hang around too, so life is good. Take that grey pup and my friend and shove it up your butt. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.